Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at Noon.
4 UK football players are suspended following the incident with the BB gun Sunday night. Today, UK police said they'll meet with the county attorney.
Investigators are back on the scene of a Richmond motel fire, trying to figure out how it started.
Well, it doesn't really matter which panel you look at. A lot of sunshine everywhere you look. Upper 60s, lower 70s at the moment. We'll finish off in the 80s once again today. And then the next several days, big changes are coming with that big cold front. I'll jot down when you can expect the rain and when you can expect the cold coming up in just a few minutes. WKYT News at Noon starts right now.
Good afternoon from WKYT News. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Barbara Bailey. We're finding out about possible charges that may be filed following an incident on the University of Kentucky campus on Sunday night.
Police say an airsoft pellet gun was fired near the Kerwin-Blanding complex, setting off a campus-wide lockdown. 4 UK football players involved in the incident have been suspended for this weekend's big game with South Carolina. The players involved are Dorian Baker, Drew Barker, Tamir DuBose, and Stanley Williams. WKYT's Sean Moody has the latest on the case. It's our top story at noon. Sean?
I talked with several students here on campus this morning. They told me they thought the incident was serious because it scared so many people, but they're not sure anyone should face criminal charges because of it. The incident happened around 9:30 Sunday night. Students reported hearing gunshots in the area of the Kerwin-Blanding complex.
Everybody was in such a panic. It was pretty scary. I mean, people's moms were calling them. It was bad.
Police said yesterday the shots came from an airsoft gun. UK football coach Mark Stoops announced 4 freshman players, Dorian Baker, Drew Barker, Tamir DuBose, and Stanley Williams, would be suspended for this weekend's game in connection with the incident. Fayette County Attorney Larry Roberts said this morning that UK police plan to file disorderly conduct second charges in the case. He didn't know who would be charged.
But a criminal charge, I think, would be a little excessive. It may be a little much, but I do think it needs to be taken care of. They shouldn't make light of it.
They probably should get another chance, just get one more chance at it.
UK police said they recovered 3 BB guns connected with the incident. UK officials tell us guns of any kind are prohibited from campus. In Lexington, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Sean, thank you. And Coach Stoops said the 4 players will also be facing internal team disciplinary measures. Police are investigating another crime alert near the UK campus. A man says he was robbed by a group of gunmen on East Maxwell Street overnight, right across from the Max Cade German House and Cultural Center. The victim told police the suspects demanded his wallet and cell phone and then hit him over the head with a gun. So far, no arrests have been made.
Still no arrest in a shooting that injured a woman who was sitting on her front porch near downtown Lexington. Police say the woman was an innocent bystander caught in the crossfire of a shootout yesterday in front of her home near 5th and Ohio Streets. The woman was shot in the leg. She was taken to UK hospital for treatment. She is the 5th person to have been shot in Lexington since Friday. The State Fire Marshal's office is at a Central Kentucky motel at this noon hour, trying to determine the cause of a fire. It broke out yesterday afternoon at the Country Hearth Inn off the Eastern Bypass in Richmond. Police say they found a hot plate inside the room where the fire started. WKYT's Whitney Wetzel is in Madison County now with the latest on the investigation. Whitney?
Investigators with the State Fire Marshal's office are on the scene of a Richmond motel trying to figure out exactly what caused it to catch fire. Flames that ripped through the County Hearth Inn yesterday afternoon caused enough damage to the backside of the building for officials to condemn it. Fire officials tell us they believe a hot plate in a room is likely what started the fire. Some folks tell us the man who was staying there drove off shortly after the fire started. We're told the reason why state investigators were on scene was because smoke alarms did not go off at the motel. Fire officials say they're now working with the motel's owners to ensure that problem gets fixed immediately. While everyone did get out safely yesterday without working smoke detectors, this obviously could have ended much worse. People who live here tell us they're just grateful those staying in this building still have a place to stay.
Considering the extent of the damage and the fact that the owners of the motel have been able to step up and give everybody a room and take care of them, that's a real blessing there.
today. State fire investigators would only tell us that the cause remains under investigation. In Richmond, Whitney Wetzel, WKYT.
Now, at this point, Richmond fire officials believe the cause of the fire was accidental. The search continues this midday for the person who broke into a Lexington country club. It happened just before 3 this morning at the Spring Valley Golf Club on Sandersville Road. When officers arrived, they found a phone line that had been cut. Police believe the suspect got in through a window, but nothing appears to have been stolen.
A missing woman has been found alive inside a car trunk in Louisville thanks to some good Samaritans who heard her. Police say a group of people walking nearby heard a noise coming from the trunk. They went to investigate. They used a brick to break open a window and free her. She suffered a broken arm and was dehydrated, but is expected to be okay in the long run. Police are not sure how she ended up in that trunk or who is responsible. Well, it is another beautiful day here in the Bluegrass. A mix of sun and clouds and summer-like temperatures again, but enjoy that while it lasts because big changes are coming for the weekend. Let's go to WKYT meteorologist Micah Harris live in our First Alert Weather Center. Micah?
Very popular number right now, 77 degrees. So we're pretty much where we were yesterday at this time. 70s all across the region. A lot of blue skies. I believe most of us will finish off there, and the lower 80s as we head throughout the rest of the afternoon. So a good looking afternoon. Down in the southeast, we'll have a few upper 70s. That's why we're sitting there in the middle, right around 80 degrees. Mild evening in store. Looks like a good rest of the day. And look, it's going to be the same stuff as we head throughout the next couple of days, but those big changes toward the weekend is what we're all focusing in on because we have keen-length football games, events, festivals. We have a lot going on, and I'll show you what that means for you coming up in a few minutes.
Right, thank you very much, Micah. The Lexington Fire Department has named its new junior fire chief.
This morning, the fire chief honored Alexandra Brown, a 5th grader at Clays Mill Elementary, in front of all of her fellow classmates. She was chosen by a panel of teachers and firefighters for her essay on the importance of smoke alarms.
That they save lives and they're a few seconds faster than sprinklers are. And that they save a lot of lives. The estimated lives are 890.
Now, today's ceremony is part of National Fire Prevention Week. Brown will serve as a liaison between the fire department and children to promote fire prevention. She'll be also serving as the Grand Marshal at the Fire Prevention Festival and Parade on Sunday, and we'll get the opportunity to meet her just a little later in this news hour.
That's right. She will be here on WKYT, and we hope you'll stay with us. The director of the Secret Service in the hot seat on Capitol Hill today as some new details have emerged about the White House intruder.
And we'll have the latest from that hearing next on Kentucky's #1 midday news.
And also ahead, the first photos of George Clooneys' Italian wedding have been released. Find out what designer the bride wore for the big day. Coming up on WKYT News at noon. Welcome back to WKYT News at noon. The Secret Service is conducting an investigation to find out how a man with a knife was able to jump the fence at the White House and run through the building before being stopped.
But some in Congress are pushing ahead with their own investigation and have called the director of the agency to Capitol Hill to testify. Craig Boswell has this report now from Washington.
Secret Service Director Julia Pearson is on Capitol Hill to explain to Congress how an intruder made it into the White House.
This is unacceptable, and I take full responsibility, and I will make sure that it does not happen again.
On September 19th, Omar Gonzalez scaled the White House fence and ran past armed guards into the building. The 42-year-old then overpowered another Secret Service agent and made it through to the East Room before finally being captured.
It's clear that our security plan was not properly executed.
But some lawmakers want to know why the security plan wasn't executed properly.
Inexplicably, Omar Gonzalez breached at least 5 rings of security on September 19th.
Some here on Capitol Hill also expressed outrage that the initial Secret Service response misled the public, that the intruder was stopped just inside the door. The statement even praised the agents for their tremendous restraint.
Tremendous restraint is not the goal and the objective. It sends a very mixed message. The message should be overwhelming force.
A full investigation of the incident is underway, but the details of the report aren't likely to be made public in order to keep certain security measures private. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Now, Director Pearson says the Secret Service has apprehended 16 people for jumping the fence at the White House over the last 5 years, including 6 this year alone. The head of the FAA has ordered a security review of backup plans for air traffic control facilities across the country. The moves come after an act of sabotage brought flights to a halt last week. A suicidal man set a fire Friday that destroyed equipment inside a Chicago area control center. More than 400 flights were canceled yesterday, bringing the total to almost 4,000 since Friday. Delays are expected to continue for another 2 weeks on flights in and out of Chicago's main airports.
Health officials in Texas say a patient who is showing signs of the Ebola virus is being kept in strict isolation this afternoon. Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital in Dallas is evaluating the patient. And doctors expect preliminary test results from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to come back at some point later today. The patient had reportedly been in an area where the Ebola virus exists, most likely West Africa, where the deadly virus is most prevalent right now. There are new concerns surrounding a respiratory illness that's making children across the country sick. The Centers for Disease Control is now investigating whether the enterovirus D68 is responsible for 10 cases of temporary paralysis in Colorado. As the CDC looks into those cases, the virus continues to spread across the nation. The latest numbers show the virus has sickened at least 277 children in 40 states and the District of Columbia. That, of course, includes Kentucky. So far, no deaths have been reported. Well, Walmart is firing back at comedian Tracy Morgan's claims that they're to blame for the injuries that he suffered in a limo bus crash.
The world's largest retailer says Morgan and the other passengers are partially to blame because they weren't wearing seat belts. Morgan's lawsuit claims their truck driver Kevin Roper was overworked and fatigued on the day of the crash. Authorities say Roper had not slept in more than 24 hours before the wreck on the New Jersey Turnpike. The 6-car accident in June left Morgan with broken ribs, a broken nose, and a broken leg, and resulted in the death of his friend James McNair. Well, we're getting our first look inside Kentucky native George Clooney's Italian wedding. The newlyweds are on the cover of People and Hello magazines with Amal Alamuddin wearing a custom Oscar de la Renta gown. The dress was made of traditional French lace, which was hand embroidered with pearls and stones. It featured an off-the-shoulder neckline and a full train topped off by a cathedral-length veil. The groom stuck to his longtime style staple, a classic Armani tux, accented by a platinum wedding band. You can see the Clooneys' personal wedding album in the new issue of People, which hits newsstands tomorrow.
All right, a lot of interest in that, certainly. Well, 2 firefighters are recovering after a bridge collapse in eastern Kentucky.
Find out how rescuers were able to get them out of the creek coming up on WKYT News at 12:30.